Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the series called How Good Is, the series where we look at these small details, the statistics of an individual item within Call of Duty, and answer the question, how good is it? And today what we're going to be looking at is the weapon called the Tigershark. This is the newest weapon to Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and it's unlocked at tier 50 in Operation Spectre Rising. Now, as far as this weapon goes, it's a fully automatic LMG. However, it has an operator mod which makes it a 6-round burst LMG, which we are also going to talk about in this video. Now, on top of that, I'm going to give you some best class setups and tips for excelling with this weapon as well. And then by the end of the video, I'll give you a ranking out of 10 to answer the question, how good is the Tigershark? Now, I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and if you enjoy these type of videos where we look at best class setups, stats, that kind of thing, and you want to see more of them, the best way to show me is simply hit that like button, and it shows me that you enjoyed the video and I should do more like it. So if you enjoyed, please hit that like button, and without further ado, let's dive into the Tigershark by looking at its stats. So to start things out, we are going to look at the damage, and the damage on this weapon is odd because there's only two different damage levels. It either does 38 damage up till about 40 meters, you can see it on screen here, and then after that it drops off to 30 damage, which is basically a 4 to a 5 bullet kill. Now, based off of this damage profile, headshots do not matter. If you get a headshot, it's not going to decrease the bullets to kill, so just aim for that chest with this weapon and hope for the best. Now, where this gets interesting is when we look at the attachments, because one of the attachments that's available for the Tigershark is high caliber. And normally whenever high caliber is available for a weapon, I recommend it. However, for the Tigershark, I do not. And the reason is for the high caliber attachment to make any difference with the Tigershark, you actually have to get 2 headshots, not 1. Normally you only have to get 1 headshot for it to make a difference, but with the Tigershark, it is 2. So in other words, even if you get 1 headshot with the Tigershark with high caliber, it is still going to be a 4 bullet kill. If you get 2, it is going to be a 3 bullet kill, but that's a pretty rare circumstance. And if you're wondering number-wise how this works, it's because when you get a headshot with high caliber, it deals 56 damage, which you still need 3 additional shots to actually kill someone. So that's how that works out. Now, on top of this, what this means is that this weapon almost 100% of the time is going to be a 4 bullet kill, which is okay. Just as a comparison though, this is the exact same as the Titan. The Titan is almost always a 4-shot kill as well. The difference is the damage drop off is even longer on the Titan than it is on the Tigershark. So a very big similarity there. Now, next up for rate of fire, this is hand tested, so I might be a little bit off, but I got 507 RPM. It's probably something more like 510 or 500, which is better than the Titan, actually. The Titan has a fire rate of 480 RPM, so this one's about 30 RPM around there faster than the Titan, which makes the time to kill on this weapon better than the Titan as well. And that time to kill is 355 milliseconds, whereas the Titan is 375 milliseconds. So up close, the Tigershark should beat the Titan in a gunfight. However, after that damage drop off that I showed you before, the time to kill drops off to 473 milliseconds, which is very, very slow, and you're going to lose most gunfights at that range, especially against the Titan, because the one thing we haven't talked about is recoil. This weapon has much more and much weirder recoil than the Titan. It's kind of like a side-to-side bounce. When you shoot up against the wall, it doesn't seem like much, but when you are actually comparing the two, there's definitely more recoil on that Tigershark, and the trade-off for that is the faster fire rate. Now, after this, the magazine size is 48 rounds, which is a very odd number. You don't see that very much with magazines, so that's interesting. But what's even more interesting is the reload time, because the reload time for an LMG is really good. In fact, it's just a little bit slower than the assault rifles in this game. So without fast mags, your reload speed is going to be 2 seconds on the dot, and then with fast mags, your reload time is going to be 1.2 seconds, which for a 48 round magazine is really, really good, and is the best you're going to get for an LMG in this game. And quite honestly, based off of the stats we've seen so far, this actually looks a lot more like an assault rifle than it does an LMG. The only difference is the range on this weapon is a little bit better than most of the assault rifles we see in the game. Now, similar to the other LMGs in the game, the other stats reflect once again an assault rifle. If you look at the aim down sights time, it is 0.3 seconds, which is in line with all of the assault rifles. On top of that, if you look at the sprint out time, I don't know if I made a mistake here. I tried my best to test this, but to me, the sprint out time was 0.2 seconds, which is faster than all of the assault rifles in the game, and that is really surprising to me. So what this tells me is that this LMG is potentially a better run and gun weapon than all of the assault rifles, which is weird because that's not really normally what we see out of LMGs. Now, as far as whether this gun is better than the Titan or the Titan's better than this gun, I could do a whole video on that. I used to do a versus series that you guys used to really like, and if you'd like to see that, just let me know down in the comments or hit that like button. But as far as these two weapons compared, this weapon stat-wise is actually better than the Titan. The one thing that's not better is the recoil, and the recoil is really what makes the Titan so ridiculously good, because you can be looking at someone across the map and not even have to aim because the weapon has no recoil. This one does. This has much more recoil than the Titan. So the next thing I wanted to do was look at the attachments for this gun, starting off with the operator mod. So this operator mod is called the Burst Rush, and what it does is it converts the weapon to fire a 6-round burst. The last 4 bullets of the burst at an accelerated rate of fire. So in other words, the last 4 bullets of that burst shoot faster than the first 2 bullets of the burst. Now, I played a bunch with this, tried it out, and quite honestly, I don't like it. I find that the weapon is much better if you just don't use the operator mod. The reason being, if you miss any bullets, if you miss a burst, the burst delay is so long that it's just not going to work for you. On top of that, I found that this weapon really excels up close to mid-range, where when you have this, it works better at long range. And based off of the weapon's stats, that's not what you should be building a class for based off of this weapon. It's fun to use, it's interesting, it's different, but I definitely think the weapon is better without it. Now, moving on, another reason why I don't think this is a top tier weapon is because of its attachments. As you can see, we have stock 1, stock 2, laser sight, grip, FMJ, high caliber, fast mags, and suppressor. And when I originally saw this, I thought it was gonna get that much better, but the whole idea that high caliber doesn't really work on this weapon means that it can't competitively compete with something like the Rampart with high caliber 1 and 2 or the Auger with high caliber 1 and 2. Now, let's dive into a best class setup for this weapon, because as I mentioned, we are already not going to use the operator mod, as I feel like it makes the weapon worse. If you want to use it like a longer ranged weapon, because that's where that burst fire is going to succeed. But that's not what we're doing. So, first of all, optics. I definitely recommend using optics. I hate the iron sights for this weapon. So whatever you're more comfortable with, reflex or elo, I prefer the elo, so that's what we're going to use. As far as the rest of your attachments, the first one I recommend is stock. Stock is going to make it so you can more easily strafe fire and take out enemies while they can't shoot you. If you really like moving fast, dodging bullets, then stock 2 is probably good here. I find it a little bit overkill, so what I'm going to use instead is the grip. This one's a little bit debatable, but I like using it because the recoil is pretty high on this weapon and it helps me out a little bit with that one. If you don't like using grip, you find it dumb and you can already control the recoil, replace the grip with stock 2. But I like the grip. And the third and final thing, do not choose high caliber. Do not choose high caliber. As I mentioned, it is just not a good enough attachment on this weapon. You have to get 2 shots to make it worthwhile to the head. So I don't use high caliber. I use fast mags. The reason why I use fast mags is it reduces my reload time by 0.8 seconds. It almost halves of the reload time. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be run and gunning with this weapon because of the stats on it. And because of that, you're definitely going to want to use fast mags. So finally, we're going to use gear. We're going to use stim shot. I always use stim shot, but once again, with a run and gun class, stim shot is basically a must. And then I use engineer, gung ho, and finally dead silence. I use that on almost every single one of my classes. This is no exception. So now that we've looked at everything, we can answer the question, how good is the Tigershark? Well, looking at the stats, it's actually a decent weapon. I wouldn't say it is the best weapon in the game, but it's also not bad. So I give it like a 7 out of 10. Basically, it is a Titan with a little bit faster of a fire rate and a lot more recoil. That is the easiest way to look at this weapon. At mid-range, this weapon shreds. At short range, you're going to get beat by SMGs, and at long range, you're going to get beat by Augers, Titans, and other weapons along those lines. So, you want to stick to mid-range, play it like a run and gun weapon, and like I said, it's about a 7 out of 10 weapon. Is it better than a lot of the other DLC weapons in the game? Yes, but it's not as good as something like the Daemon. So that's my opinion on it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, feel free to let me know what you think. Also, like I said before, if you do enjoy these type of videos, be sure to hit that like button, as it shows me that you enjoy it, and I should make more like it. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, the best way to stay up to date on all my videos is make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
Listen.